Welcome to part two in this seven-part series covering NBRC programs as an overview. Session two will cover eligibility and waivers. We'll review the points of eligibility to understand and assess before applying for NBRC funds. First, we'll review the types of organizations eligible to receive NBRC funding. Then we'll cover the physical locations that are eligible to receive NBRC funding and the eligible reimbursement match ratio for each. And then we'll review any eligibility waivers that might apply to your organization or project. The first item to assess is whether your organization is eligible to receive NBRC funds. Eligible organizations include state governments, local governments, and political subdivisions of states, federally recognized Native tribes, and 501c entities. Please note that 501c nonprofit entities must be able to demonstrate they have established operations in a member state and they have federal grant experience related to economic development. The next step is to determine the eligibility of the project based on location. So we'll go over the physical locations that are eligible to receive NBRC funding and the eligible reimbursement and match ratio for each. And then we'll review any eligibility waivers that might apply to your organization or project. You'll notice that linked here is our NBRC webpage that covers distressed counties. This is a really great resource, including our distress criteria report, and is updated on an annual basis. By statute, the NBRC is required, as I said, to assess annually the level of economic and demographic distress in its service area. The resulting designations reflect whether the NBRC can provide grants within a county. NBRC's service area has expanded to 64 counties across the 4-state region that make up our service area. Our reauthorization in December 2024 added 4 new counties to the service area. On this slide, you'll see them underlined. Lincoln County in Maine was added, and Merrimack County in New Hampshire was added. On this slide, we show New York and Vermont eligible counties. You'll notice that Wyoming and Schoharie counties in New York were added. These counties are identified in NBRC's enabling legislation. The service area is described in the annual distress report. Please note that Schoharie County, while it was added in our enabling legislation, has active awards from another federal commission. So the county is not currently eligible for NBRC funding in fiscal year 2025 per NBRC statute and has not been included in distress calculations. In terms of NBRC's distress criteria, there are 3 designations a county may receive, which are distressed, transitional, or attainment. Attainment counties may receive funds under 3 conditions. They might be an isolated area of distress within that attainment county. A project could be part of or an attainment county, could be part of a multi-county or multi-state project that includes at least one distressed or transitional county. There are 2 exceptions to NBRC's distress criteria. First, an exception exists for projects located within an attainment county, but outside of one of the identified isolated areas of distress that will bring significant economic benefits to NBRC distressed or transitional counties. Second, an exception exists for applicants or co-applicants located outside of the NBRC service area, but who have established operations within a member state when the project will bring significant economic benefits to NBRC's distressed or transitional counties. Note, for those exceptions, you must submit a significant benefit waiver with your pre-application. More information on the significant benefit waiver can be found in Appendix E of Program User Manuals. And as mentioned, more information on distressed, transitional, and attainment counties can be found on our distress criteria webpage and within the distress report linked earlier. Distressed counties are eligible for 80% of funding from NBRC, but require a match rate of 20%. Transitional counties are eligible for 50% funding from NBRC and require a 50% match rate. Refer to the Program User Manual and the distress criteria on NBRC's website to help determine the eligibility and match for the project location. Review the 3 steps. First, you're determining if you are an eligible applicant. Second, determine if the project location is in NBRC's service area, and determine if the project is in a distressed, transitional, or attainment county. You'll want to identify if an exception applies or if you need to submit a significant benefit waiver with your pre-application. And then finally, be sure to determine the reimbursement and match rate associated with the location. We've listed several resources at the bottom of this slide to include program user manuals for each of our programs, Catalyst, FEP, short for Forest Economy Program, and T for T, short for the Timber for Transit program. The distress criteria is linked here, and the significant benefit waiver, as mentioned, is found in Appendix E of Program User Manuals. There's one more waiver that we want to cover here, which is our 75% or prior award recipient expenditure waiver. All eligible applicants with open NBRC awards cannot receive an additional NBRC investment until the current award has both submitted reimbursement requests totaling 75% or more of the project and demonstrated that 75% of the cost share has been expended before the pre-application deadline. This requirement applies across all NBRC programs. If you have an open award, you'll want to confirm the current expenditures. So if you have an open Catalyst award and you'd like to apply for FEP funding, you still must have that 75% spend down on your open award before submitting an application. If an applicant cannot meet the 75% expenditure requirement before the pre-application deadline, the applicant can apply for a waiver. The 75% expenditure waiver must be submitted with the pre-application. Details are available in the program user manuals around this waiver.